are back, A2TP podcast, episode 185, and we are back in the building. It's your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Tash, the co-host.
And we're back for another episode of us. We up, we live, we hot. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, Player FM. Type us in, our faces pop up. Y'all know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. Flirt with us a little bit.
Watch it, because you say that, and then,
Let's get right to it. I said flirt with us, don't get hurt. Flirt with us a little bit, but don't get hurt. Let's get to it. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Mentally, I'm a 9. I probably was an 8 prior to starting the show. I'm extremely grateful for my husband and him just being the friend to me that he is. First of all, I can't hide anything from him or anything that's bothering me. And even if, he doesn't notice it, just being in his presence, if something is bothering me, it's like water boiling below the surface. And it's like, it's just I just gotta get it out, because it's like I'm looking at him like I gotta tell him something because I'm just grateful for him, and because just
tea,
like
you
that,
got tea. Like you can't walk around the house.
Well,
with
having
tea
is one thing, but having
it's
my own,
tea. It's all tea. It's all hot tea. You better not, don't spill it.
So I'm a 9. And I had off. Today I had a self-care day. Today had an amazing massage. Even though they pissed me off. Maybe we'll get into some conversation.
They pissed you off, but you handed somebody fucking tip money
No.
Exactly.
It was after that, and if we have some time, we can talk about the tipping culture in America, because it came after the fact.
Well, we need to learn the I tip what I want, or the no factor in America. Because that's getting out of hand. People have to fight back against the tipping culture. That can't be forced down your throat.
No, it can't be forced down your throat. But I think there is some responsibility to tip in a service industry, and I don't have a problem with that.
People should. There was tips since time immemorial, so there should be the tips that we grew up on, not this new stuff where you go get an ice cream cone, they give you 2 scoops and you got a tip. That's not cool.
No, I don't think, and I might have said this before, but I heard it or read it from somebody else. If you are serving me and I'm standing up, there's no tip involved. Meaning I come to the counter, you serve me. I didn't have a seat, you didn't take an order, you didn't leave and come back. We're standing here making an exchange, or if I'm in a drive-through, why is there a tip involved? But if you are performing a service, whether it's, any cosmetic service, haircut, nails, massage, that sort of thing. But they piss me off because of this tipping system that they got, and you do it electronically through the thing. And whatever, you can combine, you can say, okay, I had a massage and a facial. So 2 different service people. And it asks you what was the cost of the service. I guess it's going to calculate how much you want to give. So I kind of skipped past that and put in how much I wanted to tip. They text me afterwards to say, basically the tip only went to one person and didn't go through for the other person. I was using my husband's card, but I waited till he came home, and I see the amount that I tipped was deducted from the account. So if your system gave it all to one person, that's a you issue. But I think their problem is maybe they thought my tip was too little, which is not their business. And I tipped what I thought was good enough. And I just think it's some shady stuff going on, and I'm pissed, and I'm thinking of how I want to handle it, because I don't want the other girl to be shortchanged because of this was an administrative thing, the people at the desk. I don't want the other girl to be shortchanged, but I feel like y'all doing some shady stuff. So I feel like I want to go there, take her a cash tip, and then tell them, close my account out. Y'all services ain't all that great anyway, hand and stone. So
you shouldn't go there and take them no more money.
But again, I feel like the girl who performed it's not, but she ends up being shortchanged.
I know, but that's not your responsibility.
But like I said, I'm still processing it in my mind, but they piss me off.
Nevertheless, like you said, that's an admin thing.
Nevertheless, my day was great because my massage was great. My facial was amazing as always. And the girl who did my facial, it appears she got all of the tip. But again, that's y'all need to fix that. Nevertheless, work is finances is an 8 because, you know, we just stacking and saving and saving and stacking and stacking and saving and saving and stacking. Thankful to God for that ability. Work is a 10. No, work is a 9. I wasn't there today, but it's still a 9. It's about to get real busy for us at work, and I'm prepared for it. And then physically I'm a 9. I feel so much better than I did. Yeah, I just feel so much better than I did. And you know, I look good too. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Mentally, I feel like a 9. Leave room for growth there. Feel sharper.
I was gonna say, I hope I didn't lay nothing heavy on you.
No, okay. Not at all.
Good.
Finances, I feel like an 8. Always got to leave a double stack for improvement there. Work is an 8. Just, you know, it's hot. Me and my guy ain't on the same page. We got to do something, but we're gonna fix it. Physically, I feel great. I'm back in the gym today, so I feel awesome.
You can give us a number?
10.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a 10 today.
That's good.
Nothing hurts. Nothing. I got this stupid stuffy nose, but I think they did something to me.
You sound better today than you did yesterday.
Yeah. So
what's your wows and moves?
My wow is my experience that I had this past couple of days. I got a colonoscopy. So just the wow of, you know, just being a man and doing what I'm supposed to do to take care of myself. I want to be around and love my wife forever. So I want to be here to, you know, for memories and experiences and shit like that. So I'm just being proactive in taking care of my health and doing the things that I'm supposed to do. So that was my wow, that it takes some balls to do that. You got to put aside your ego and that toxic masculinity of, you know, nobody's going up my ass. Like if somebody had a choice and it was like you could die or we go up your ass, I don't know like what man with something to lose would say, I'd rather die. Right,
and we're talking about going up your butt medically. Like, yeah.
And it's like you hear so many stories about it and all that kind of shit. So, and the experience itself was like, I don't remember it. How about that? Like, I don't remember it. I didn't feel anything. I remember waking up, going to the hospital, and the last thing I remember is them saying, turn over on your side. And then the next thing you know, they was like, can you wake up? Like nothing, didn't feel anything, didn't know anything happened, was going just like that and was back up just like that. So yeah, for people who out there, black men who think that this is something to be scared of, like you shouldn't be. And if it's going to save your life, and this is one of the things that, one of the earliest cancers that they can detect and cure, then yeah, like, and it's more prevalent in black men and Latino men. So yeah, if you 45 and up, I definitely recommend, you know, just being proactive and trying to take care of yourself, because everything that I heard about it was nothing, the experience was nothing like that. Like you don't even feel, you don't remember, you don't feel like anything happened to you. Like
people said otherwise?
Yeah, like people was like, well, you know, because you talk to men and it's like, no, I don't want to wake up and feel like somebody been playing in my ass, or, you know, I don't want lube in my butt. Like just dumb shit like that. And it's like all that shit you would put in front of living. Like do you got something to lose? Do you got a wife? Do you got kids? Do you got like stuff you got more life to live? So you would fuck all that because you don't want to go through with a test? Like that shit just don't make sense to me. So you know,
and women too, get yours
yeah,
too.
like just be proactive is all I'm saying. So yeah, it was a good experience. It wasn't bad. I got nothing negative to say about it. My woe is the prep, like the not eating. I hadn't eaten since Monday night and didn't eat all day Tuesday. Had to go to bed like that, hungry, and like it was just crazy. And I almost passed away. Like it was It was bad.
Why would you lie and
because
say
it
that?
was bad. Like I was the
you
one
almost
going.
Passed away.
It was bad. Like it was bad.
I came downstairs. He was sitting on the sofa wrapped in a blanket like this.
I had the shakes. I had the shakes. It was bad. It was.
You had a cup of black coffee. You had about 4 or 5 cups of chicken broth, and you had some water.
I had about 13 waters. I peed 28 times in one day. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then I had to do the mix with the, make your bowels move, and it's like nothing's in your bowels. It's like just, whatever you drank. 13 waters just came out my ass. Like I don't know. There's no food, no nothing. But that prep stuff.
Well, I think because you're pretty regular. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I would think so too. Like I am pretty regular, but then they should like ask you that. Like, are you regular and what do you consider regular? Yeah. And I could have told them, 3-4 times a day I'm pretty regular. Yeah. So you don't have to prep me the way you got to prep somebody who said once a week.
But they don't want you to eat because they need it to be clear when they go up there.
Yeah, but that's not in your colon yet.
But they have to be able to time it. So you usually go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, though.
Right.
All right, so what if you didn't, they don't know that. So they have to ask everybody, what time you go to the bathroom, what time you go to the bathroom. They just feel like, let's just not have nothing in there.
Okay, I mean, I get it. I understood why the process was there. I just didn't think... He
gonna tell me he might wake up in the middle of the night and sneak and get a snack.
That's how bad you're hungry.
You don't ever... We are
That's
not
how
middle of the night
bad
eaters.
You're hungry. No, and we got to unlock the door, open it. It makes noise. Like she would have heard me, but I'd had to have my phone and cut the alarm off. Like it was the whole thing I thought about. But I would have crawled downstairs and got like a cracker or something like that, or a bite of banana. I would have bit a banana. Because I could have mashed that up with my tongue and been like, and went to sleep.
You would have lied to me.
It's so hard to go to sleep when you're hungry. It's so hard. It just breaks my heart for people who have to go to sleep hungry, like miss a meal. Like nobody should be fucking starving. Like that's just crazy, crazy, crazy to be hungry and not. Usually I'm hungry. I go to my refrigerator and get some food or ask my wife, can you fix me something to eat? But this time it's like you hungry and you can't do nothing about it. So that was the bad part.
And when you woke up on Tuesday, like the day of the procedure, you didn't really mention anything about food. I know you were still hungry, but do you feel like...
No, that's because my mind was racing because of I'm about to go to the the place, so my mind was racing there. I didn't want to be late. I didn't want them to cancel and say you 20 minutes late and now you got to do this all over again.
Did I get you there on time?
You did. You got me there on time. I wasn't I was concerned, but then when you was driving, I was like, all right, we're gonna get here on time. Mm-hmm. But so that was my woe. You wows and woes.
My wow and woe is like previously, there's some duplicity. It is, I'm going to start with the negative, the woe first. Getting old. Where it's like, you go through things like my baby, his procedure is not a result of getting old, but he's at the age where that procedure, it's time to get that. I had some doctor's appointments, got to get some things checked out, got some future doctor's appointments as follow-ups, and it's like, man, like as you start getting older, it's like, wow, like your body, you just never know.
It's maintenance.
Yeah, you never know. Now the wow to that is getting old, because the alternative is
dying young.
Yeah, so Lord knows I ain't complaining. I want to be able to see another and another and another and another birthday. But it's not even any but. I want to continue to see birthdays. It's just a reminder that, as you get old, things change, life change. I was talking to somebody and they was just saying like, as they're approaching the next decade of their life soon, they want to really, focus on losing weight. And I said, listen, since I was in my 20s, people have always said, as you get older, it's harder to lose weight. And in the past, I have been successful, although I've had to revisit this journey a few times, but I've been successful in my efforts to, lose some poundage. However, at 43, yeah, they like, how like when you glue something, it's like after a certain amount of time, it's like that glue is there. Like you gotta do some extra to get it off. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, it's just different. But again, thank you, God, for getting old. So I ain't complaining too much about it. Yeah. Another thing, I guess it's kind of a segue into this episode. As you get older, as we get older, are you more aware? Do you find that you are more aware at this stage in your life about like the election? I mean, that's the huge elephant in the room, no pun intended, considering it's an elephant and a donkey. Like, but it's like, are you more aware, more concerned? Do you have the same level of concern? Yes, you're more aware because of social media. You can't help but be aware. It's in your face.
Right.
Where before you had to sit down and intentionally watch the news or read a paper. But even in your mind, are you more concerned, or just have more interest as you get older in politics?
Hell yeah. Because when people say, no matter what happens, it don't affect me. Yeah, at a certain level, it won't. But at a certain level, it affects everybody. Mm-hmm. Because if they pass certain laws, if Trump become president, and they pass certain laws that give cops immunity, we could go back to 2019 to 2022. And that 3-year period where we had cops just killing people and nothing won't happen to them. There was debates and arguments about, the cops that killed George Floyd and everybody else and who went to jail and all this stuff. Well, guess what? After 2025, nobody will be going to jail for it. And it'll be like, hey, this was an accident or this was in the line of duty and that's just cool. So, yeah, now Joe's out. Kamala is up. Kamala is up versus Trump. Your thoughts?
It's one of them things where I feel like I'm not surprised. I wish.
Me neither.
I was gonna say I wish I would have wrote it down with a date because we had this conversation. Mm-hmm. When they said he had COVID, what did I say to you?
This is the beginning of.
This is the prelude. They're leaving the breadcrumbs to then be able to say, oh, he's not well. Like, right. The writing was on the wall. If you talk about predictable TV.
And we don't even think he had COVID. We think it was some type of neurological test that he just ain't passing. And it's like, okay, now they're starting to recognize that he probably can't last another 4 years.
COVID is just like the thing now to be able, you throw that out there, who's going to question it, right?
He's dealing with 75 people a day, so yeah,
exactly.
That's easy.
Who's going to question it? So it's like that's the easy scapegoat to be able to say, to be able to withdraw from the limelight. It's just to say, oh, they have COVID. But as soon as they said that, I knew it. So I'm not surprised that he dropped out, and I'm also not surprised that that she is the candidate. However, and this is not to say like I'm for or against, like whatever. I do feel like it kind of goes against the whole democratic process because I didn't think that you were supposed to like people vote in the primary, mm-hmm. right, as to who they want to be in the major election. So now they voted for Joe. Whoever people voted for Joe.
Yeah, in the primary.
In the primary to say, okay, he's the candidate. Now that he dropped out and they put her in place, doesn't that negate the whole democratic process? Aren't you supposed to go with whoever was number 2 or have a new primary or something? I don't know. How did they get away with it?
My thoughts is they dropped the ball on this. I think the Democratic Party dropped the ball. Let me land the plane. I think they dropped the ball on the whole process. It's like you got all these historic things that happen. You got Biden just dropping out 3 months before the election. Like you said, the primary has already happened. So then the vice president who comes in and says, okay, we want her to do it, which is great that it might be historic that a black woman becomes president of the mm-hmm. United States and we are living to see something like that. That could be historic and that could be great, even bigger than Obama in 2008.
Right.
So that's an historic thing. But the Democratic Party dropped the ball because in sports terms, she had no training camp. Like she just 3 months out, she's got no real head start like the other guy has. And all the revving up for the election. She got 90 days, and she did raise $80 million in a day, but she got 90 days to get everything right, to run all this shit's going to come out about her with all these commercials, all like a bunch of shit's going to happen in 90 days where Trump had a year or two to plan for his, his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say on here, I don't want Trump to be the president because I don't want him to pass the laws that he's going to pass. I care more about this stuff because I'm a participant now also. I'm a part of the process. I vote. So with the vice president, it's almost like I've never heard her speak in 4 years. So for me, that's how I feel. I don't know this lady. I know some things about her, like when she was a attorney general in California, she was not for us black people. I know that when the prisons was crowded out there and they wanted to let nonviolent offenders out, she was against that. And I know mostly all the nonviolent offenders was black and brown. So it's some things I know about her that would make me say, who is this lady? But at the same time, our relatability is because she's black and she's a black woman. So you want to relate to the candidate that you putting a vote in for. And the only relatability I have with her is that she's a black woman. That's it. I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's about. I don't know what she's going to do if she becomes the president. I don't know any of that. Like the last time we heard her speak, she said, "We did it, Joe." That's it. That was when he became president. When has she spoken after that?
I mean, right. My thing is this.
And like, I challenge anybody to tell me, like, what is she about? What do we know about her?
That's like, of course she's spoken, but we don't know what she stands for. It's almost as if, and maybe that's the place of a vice president. It's almost as if everything we've heard
not to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you land your plane. But we heard from Dick Cheney. We heard from Al Gore and all the vice presidents we heard from except her.
It's almost like we don't know what like her individual standpoints on things have been. It's like whatever Joe talked about, like and I'm just gonna throw this out there. She was like, his Puffy to Biggie. Like, yeah, don't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Like backing him up. Yeah, backing him up. But again, we don't know what did she have any specific initiatives that she wanted to push forward, that she wanted to have, implemented? I don't know anything about her.
And that's something that we should know about the person that we're voting for.
And I feel like to this point, and it's only been a couple days, right? So I'm sure they're working on it. I feel like the things that I've heard her say have just been negating what the orange has said. It hasn't really been like, I'm gonna do this and I stand for this and I want to do this. It's almost like, he's bad, I'm better than him. He's doing this. I'm not gonna do what he's doing. But it's like, okay, can you tell me what you're about without even acknowledging or speaking to him? Tell me if that was a different person that you were running against, why should we vote for you?
What are you running on?
Yeah, and that's where I feel like it's like, yeah, we don't know necessarily what we're getting ourselves into. Let me ask you this. You said relatability because she's black. You know that she says she doesn't identify as black. Her mom is Indian. Like I looked it up. Like she's from Chennai, India. Her dad is Jamaican. That makes it even
worse. I didn't even know that. But if she's saying she don't identify as black, then I'm not going to call her black.
Right.
So she's not a black woman.
Well, I
shouldn't be getting in trouble for saying that, because she is saying if she not identifies as black, then
she identifies as a Southeast Asian. And let me just say this. I think I don't know if she said she doesn't identify as black. She doesn't identify as only black. She more closely identifies as Southeast Asian. And I think when you look at her and her sister name is Maya Harris, right? Mm-hmm. And she
in politics?
No, she's a lawyer, I think, not in politics per se, but like her profession, I think she's a lawyer. She's married, so Harris is her maiden name. No, her sister actually has a black husband, but her sister looks more of the has more of the Indian features like the mom, where Kamala has the more African American features, like her Jamaican father. And I don't know if her mom and dad were like, if she grew up in a 2-parent home, because I know oftentimes if you grow up with a single mom or primarily with your mom, then a lot of kids, gravitate towards their mom. So she may gravitate towards the culture of her mom, which was Southeast Asian. She's Indian. So maybe that's where it comes from. And if you think about it, I don't want to fault her for trying to play the black card if growing up that really wasn't how she lived.
Because it's going to look fake.
Yeah, because anybody that knows her would come out and be like...
Well, we would notice it. When you stood up, if she stands up there and tries to act black or talk some vernacular, that shit's not going to come off well to us.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, so again, I don't necessarily knock her for saying that, because if that's, if that has been the culture that she's related to all her life, then stand on it. Also, people have said when she was running, when the Biden-Harris ticket, when they were running in 2020, somebody had asked her, like, was there anything specific she was going to do for black people? And she said no. There was nothing that she was going to do that was just specifically for black people. But the problem I have with that is, and someone else pointed this out, I seen, there were laws that were passed just for Asian people. Mm-hmm. There were laws that were passed just for LGBTQ people. Mm-hmm. There were laws that were passed just for transgender people. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not saying I know what the law should be, but why is it like so mind-blowing to think like, of course I'm not going to do anything just for black people? It's almost like, how dare you ask me that? But how can you say I'm going to do things? Now I do think the problem with that is, and this is a lot of it hurtful. Black is so big and so general. We don't have, like, when you say Asian people, which is big too, but like, you can identify Asian people. Then when you say black, okay, are you talking about black people born in America, black people that, I understand when the waters get muddy, but just her like resonant, like, no, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people, when after that, again, there has been things specifically done for other groups, then it's like, oh, well, why can't you entertain doing anything specifically for black people?
Yeah, that should be something that you should run on. Most, like, a candidate runs on education. We know what Trump is running on, the borders and law enforcement, like getting what he calls, but getting things back to normal. But what are you running on? Like, and I would love to see history of a woman that's the president of the United States, but I don't know nothing about this lady. And I'm not ignorant to it because I pay attention to this stuff, but I have not heard this lady speak. I would love to see her in a debate. I would love to see her talk. If anybody, like, anything you read, it's like things you know about her, you read about her. But she hasn't spoken. She hasn't. And again, past presidents, we heard from Al Gore when Clinton was the president. We heard from Dick Cheney. He was always fucking talking. Now, Mike Pence, I don't know if I seen him speak a few times.
I haven't, because I felt like Trump.
Because him and his wife with that Christian Academy that they own. So I heard him speak a few times. But we heard from vice presidents. I'm talking about 4 years. I may have heard her talk once. Being honest, once. It's like she never comes out the woodworks.
I mean, she does, like, she was...
And I don't know if she's doing foreign affairs or, all that kind of other stuff where she's, away somewhere else, but she never talks.
She was just recently in Philadelphia at an event before her the president candidacy was announced. She was in Philadelphia at an event speaking. It was it was an Asian, some sort of conference for Asian Americans. I don't know exactly what it was about. So she's out there in the field, but again, we don't know. I don't know if she's doing if she's speaking just at an event as as a hired speaker. I don't know what is her, we know, and I know Michelle Obama was different because she wasn't the vice president, she was the first lady, but we knew that she was all about getting moving, get moving. Oh, I don't know why that was such a challenge. basically people getting active, being healthy, eating healthy, being better, like
gardening and all that kind of stuff.
And I know it's different for first ladies. I completely know that, but I feel like I want to know more about what Kamala stands for outside of the obvious, right? Because the obvious things is Roe v. Wade. Right. Of course, they're gonna say that they're gonna go back. You know, like those obvious things that are like low-hanging fruit.
Like the biggest fight in America that people are talking about is, can you kill a baby?
Well, like, and women's productive rights. So, I mean, again, that's low-hanging fruit. What things are you going to do? To me, that's not pushing the country forward. They can feel like, okay, they reversed it, and now you're going to revert it back. And that just puts us back to where we were. But what's next? Right. Like what's the progressive things?
Yeah,
exactly. What's the progressive things that's gonna happen? And I want her to do well. I want it to go down in history and be like, she did her thing. So this is not like any no bashing at all. I don't want to be one of those people that feels like blue no matter who. Right? Because it's almost like you vote blue so that we don't have
Trump.
Right.
And that's what this election is set up for.
And I don't want her to hang her hat on that, because while yes, some people are just gonna do that, some people that's not gonna be enough for some people. And I just want to know, I want to be able to know, like, and I want to feel a sense of pride. I mean, yeah, she may not identify as one of us, but she's a woman of color. I'm just gonna leave it there. She's a person of color, and it would be historic, but I don't want it to be historic in the worst way.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't want to see it in the worst way either. And again, I don't want the other guy to become president, because we all know what type of person. I don't give a fuck what he's doing on the financial side. You got to be a type of person to want him to be president, because you know what comes with that. Yeah. So yeah, it's set up for her. Like, I don't have the time frame. It's 90 days. And it says something. It'll say something to who comes out to vote. It'll say something to how many misogynist men in America will not vote for her just because she's a woman, just because they don't want to see that. Like, there's men out here who feel like that. Like, what? A woman president? Are you fucking crazy? Emotions? All this stereotypical shit. So that's a part of it too. Let's see how many misogynistic men out there to be like, I ain't voting for no woman. Fuck that. Yeah. I'll vote for him, just not to vote for a woman. And that's crazy.
And the people that have that, with this whole rhetoric of go with a third option, yeah, that's what you gotta start that campaign in 2025, right? To start building the momentum for 2028. We too late in the game to go with a third option. The third option is never gonna win. So you gotta start that momentum once whoever wins. And then whoever your third option is, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, the Independent Party, whatever party it is, start the momentum behind that person so that, if they are the best candidate by 2028, we can make history to say, okay, wow, this person's in position to win a third party candidate. Now ain't the time to go with a third party. You're just going to lose votes from one side or the other, because that third party is not going to win. It's stupid. It's not going to win.
It's going to make people that was going to vote blue just not participate, because it's going to look like you're just throwing anybody up there. Like, you're late with it. This guy dropped out. Now we're trying to pick and choose. They said that for them to do the process, like the primary, and I know you can't do the primary again, but for the Democratic Party to get together in the House, pick another person, and everybody agrees on, if they do that, it's November. That's how long that process takes. It's November, and she don't have that kind of time. Yeah. And it's sad that you put a woman up against that kind of wall. It's like, if you want to see it happen, let's see it happen. Give her the right time so she can build momentum. She can build a fan base so we can see the numbers go up, go down. Like, she can speak a few times, be in a debater.
Well, hopefully they will have a debate. And this is another thing too that just hit me, because
we got Trump already called her dumb as a rock. Like,
if she doesn't win, then it's gonna look like, oh, she wasn't strong enough to beat him. Where it's like, oh, you can't do that to her.
She ain't had no training camp. Yeah, she ain't had no training camp.
But this is the thing too. They said Trump. Trump called her dumb as a rock. But did you know? And when she was running for attorney general, he donated to her campaign the first time and the second time. And his daughter, Ivanka Trump, donated to her campaign.
And I would say that's because of what she was doing. Because when she was in the two things that's in the news is that when they wanted to, when all the prisons were overcrowded, they wanted to let people out. Her team was against that. And when she locked up a lot of black and brown people.
Trump supported that.
Yeah, so I can understand why he was giving money to that. He's like, oh, she over there doing that. Yeah, I'll support that.
But now she's dumb as a rock. The whole name calling, and I don't, regardless of who the parties are.
And them two in a debate.
I'm not really looking.
The shit he would say, babe.
I'm not looking forward to that. I feel like it's going to be so disrespectful.
It will
it's going to be shameful.
That's my point. Like, it will be. And that's a shame that they would. It's going to air. It's going to be a debate because people want to see her talk. But look at the preparation and look who she's going up against. She's going up against a guy who doesn't give a shit what he says.
But I think she'll be prepared in a sense. She has had a chance to sit back and watch and listen. I mean, look at Joe. He had all the time to prepare, and he's still, because of whatever issues he's going through. But so I think she can speak very well. She's educated. She's an intelligent woman. But I just think the level of disrespect it ain't gonna be nothing funny about it. It's not gonna be anything funny about it.
Trump and Joe was funny.
And I think it's going to even further emblazon these people who think they can talk out the side of their neck to people and say things. Take Trump and Biden out of it, right? Put two other people, no matter who it is. Just to think in politics, this is your job, but your job as leaders, and to be all this name calling. It's like, imagine being in a boardroom somewhere and like you hear your boss or two leaders in an organization.
I was telling you the other week, like, this is their fight. Like, this is how they fight. Like, when we was talking about, you were saying they don't really have beef. They don't really, not like each other. It's like, okay, in the street, you would fight. But in this situation, in this profession, this how they fight. They stand up there with a moderator and they talk shit about each other.
But we've never seen talking crap about one another or saying, but
you're right about
actual
that.
Name
when Bush
calling.
and all them and Barack debate, when there was the debate, they didn't.
There's
do
a
all
level
that.
of professionalism
exactly.
that is there. Even Twitter fingers when he's on posting all this stuff. The level of disrespect is embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
He makes a mockery of the government, of the system and all that shit. He does make a mockery of it when he feels like it. Yeah. And again, I do not want that dude to be president, but I want to know who this lady is. Yeah. Like, I do want to know who this lady is because I don't know. And I'm paying attention. I'm not ignorant to it, but put some clips up of her speaking and her talking and telling us, the people, what are you running on? Like, what are you specifically going to do for black people? Let's not just vote you in because you, quote unquote, a black woman. Like, that's all great if that history happens. But like my wife said, let's not have it happen on the bad side of it, where it's like, now you, a black woman, is now you implement all this stuff that has no effect on us. So let's just see and hear what you're about. And then, see who, well, we know one guy don't deserve the vote, but so it's up to you to lose the vote for people not to participate.
Yeah. Speaking of black women, rest in peace to Sonya Massey, a black woman who was executed by the police, a police officer who worked at 4 different police districts or, 4 different police departments within 6 years. Who had 2 DUIs on his record, but yet still was a police officer.
Complaints.
And he executed her.
And told her he was. Just
to think that this is still happening, and I feel like it's nothing we can do. Like, it's really nothing you can do. I often think to myself in situations, like, just scenarios play out in my head. Like, if I'm driving, if I'm on the turnpike a lot, if I see a cop or something, I think to myself, or if I get, and not that I'm ever doing anything, I don't go over 79 miles per hour. I try to drive carefully.
79?
I said I don't go over. That's the max. I try to drive as carefully as possible, but I always think to myself, if I get pulled over, I'm going to FaceTime my husband. Like, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Then I think, like, what if a cop walk up and be like, what the hell you got this camera on for? Turn. But, like, they can't make you turn off. But, like, all these thoughts go through my head to avoid a potential dangerous situation. It's like, we shouldn't have to live like that. I watched a documentary, and I'm not going to go into detail, but it talked about it was about black and white people. And this girl, she said, you know, she realized growing up with white people never think about being white. They just are. We as black people always think about our blackness, whether it's when we come in police contact, even if we don't come into police contact, if we know there's potential police contact or we just see police, we think about the fact that we're black. Nobody else thinks about their race because nobody has been victimized because of the color of their skin like we have. And it just makes you think, yeah, social media has made it more prevalent, but this ain't nothing new.
No, it's been going on since time immemorial.
But I just feel like it may quiet down for a little bit and we don't hear anything, but it's never gonna stop.
That's when you say there's nothing we can do, black people have figured out what to do, and that's disconnect. That's why black people have said, I know what to do. Don't call cops. Like, we're not going to fuck with cops. We're not going to call cops. We're going to handle shit ourselves. All this shit that happens will stay in-house. We're going to disconnect from cops. And that's what black people has done for years. And it's sad for a woman to call the cops, and when they come to our front door, the first words out of her mouth is, don't hurt me. And they say to her, we're not going to hurt you. You called us. And then 3 minutes later, she has 2 bullets in her face after the cop says, I'll shoot you in your fucking face. Like, how do you go from, you called us, we're not going to hurt you, to standing 10 feet, 15 feet away from this woman saying, I'll shoot you in the fucking face? Like those type of cops should not be cops. Like, those type of dudes probably was picked on, and with that type of authority, they just think like they can do anything. Like I don't understand why 2 men in a room with 2 guns and a black woman, and she got hot water, and that's a threat to you. Like, I don't understand. And how far they were standing away from each other. Like, y'all told her to go over there and cut the pot off because y'all didn't want to fire while y'all were talking to her. While she was looking for her ID, y'all told her to go over there. So then when she goes over there and all she says is, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, to you, you must have thought, like, you heard, I'm about to throw this water on you. Mm-hmm. Like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus means I'm going to throw hot water on you. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't know if he equated that with being baptized or something. I don't know. But to shoot that lady in the face like that, and to hear that cop be like, you know, I'm going to go get my kit, and to be like, you don't need your kit, dude. Like, you shot her in the face. Like, she's dead. Like, that shit just sad, man. That shit is sad. Like, I think about my wife. I think about my daughter, like my sister. Like, it's... You call the cops and people, they supposed to come help. Like, you having a fucking problem and you call the cops, you do the right thing. And 5 minutes later, you're dead on the floor. Like, water, gun. Like, there's no threat there. I just don't understand that shit. I don't understand how these cops can't assess a threat when they see one. They think that a woman in a fucking nightgown with a pot of water is a big enough threat to shoot her in the face. Yeah. Like, how do you even compute that? Like, again, 2 big ass cops with all this equipment on with handguns, and this lady's 15 feet away from you, and that's enough of a threat for you to shoot her in the face? Like, that shit just foul, man. That shit is foul. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. That shit is foul. Like, and he's charged and he should go to jail for the rest of his fucking life. Like, that's not cool at all, man. That lady had plans tomorrow. That lady had, like, I'm sure she was about to do something. Like, she was having a situation. She couldn't find her ID. And that led
well,
to...
somebody she called because it was an intruder. I don't know all the details, but she thought there was an intruder or somebody had broken her house or came to her house or around her house. But that was the origination of the call, her calling for help.
Like, nobody deserves that shit. Nobody deserves that shit. And how are we ever supposed to trust law enforcement when that shit happens?
Yeah.
That's no fucking mistake. That's outright, you murdered this lady. You told her 10 seconds ago, I'm going to shoot you in the face, and then you did it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not a mistake. That's not a officer involved a shooting where some shit went down and we got to sort what happened out. Like, no.
But let's just, let's lay it out, right? Somebody have a pot of boiling hot water. It is a threat, like, to potentially throw on you. But if you felt it was a threat, why not shoot her in the arm? Like to do something so, to take such when you want to say deadly force. If you thought she was going to throw a pot of hot water on you, shooting her, you thought that was worthy of her.
I don't think that's a big enough threat. I know I said it's no threat, but it's not a big enough threat to shoot her in the fucking face.
I agree. That's what I'm not playing devil's advocate necessarily, but I'm saying, even if you felt that you were in danger of hot water being thrown on you, did you think that she should die for that? Because to threaten to shoot somebody in the face means I'm going to kill you. It's not like, oh, I'm going to stop you, or I'm going to take you down, or I'm going to harm you. To threaten to shoot somebody in the face is saying, I'm going to kill you. So even if you thought she was going to throw hot water on you, did you think that was a reason for her to die? That's crazy.
Just the thought process. Like, this all happened within 5 minutes. You show up, she says, don't hurt me. As soon as she opens the door. So you're in a state of mind to tell her, you called us, we're not going to hurt you. So obviously you're at ease. That's what I'm saying. You see a pot of water, and that's a big enough threat for you to put somebody down.
Yeah. Like
that shit is insane to me that a cop can think that way. And that's why black folks said, fuck that, we're disconnecting from cops. And we don't call cops. Shit goes down in the house, it just went down. You better not call the goddamn cops. And that's probably the wrong thing to do in serious situations. But that's why we get scared when fucking a cop come behind us and we driving and all of a sudden we think, holy shit, I'm legit. But still, I don't want no police contact.
Right.
I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want them to think I'm some kind of threat when I'm just driving home from work. I don't want my wife to get into a situation and she has to call a cop and don't know if this guy's pulling up and he's a complete asshole or he's going to help her. She sees her in distress and he's going to help her. Or she is upset and she puts her hand a certain way. Now a gun is down her fucking throat because she moved a certain way. Yeah. Like, that shit can't go down like that. It just can't. It can't. Yeah. Rest in peace to Sonya Massey. Condolences to her family. 3 grams?
Yeah, it's been heavy.
3 grams. New Barbies. Let's go light something. Little girl, take me back to yesterday. New Barbies. They have a blind Barbie with a walking stick and a Down syndrome Barbie. Thoughts?
I think it's great to give girls
inclusiveness.
Give them
representation.
Something to relate to. You talked about relatability. I think it's great. Barbie was my favorite toy as a kid. Like, I had all different Barbies. I had the Barbie ice cream shop and the RV van and the swimming pool, and like, I had all the Barbie stuff.
They have amputee Barbie too.
Yeah, and I don't recall it being. I remember being happy when I got a black Barbie, but I had a mix of Barbies. But as I became,
you had a black Barbie?
Yeah.
I thought they came out like when you was not a little girl no more. Like, I thought they only had white.
They
Barbies.
weren't.
Not saying you old, but I'm talking.
They were like Barbie's friends, but like, cause like Barbie had a sister, Skipper, and then they had black Barbies, but again they weren't.
Barbie black though, or just like her friends were?
Well, Barbie had it was either Barbie or Skipper. Well, sometimes the other Barbies would have names, and I can't really remember. I think, Barbie may have been black, but Barbie may have been white, but her friends were black. But nevertheless, I had black. But nobody referred to them as like Barbie and then other names. We just called them all Barbies.
So as of all this shit happened up till now, has Barbie stayed white and it's just been other black dolls, or have they made Barbie black?
they made Barbie black.
Okay.
So again, because people don't identify them by like the white one is Barbie and the black one is Brenda or anything like that.
All Barbie.
Yeah, you just call them Barbies. Yeah. So, but again, when I became an adult and buying dolls for like my sisters and my nieces and stuff, it became more important to me to make sure that that they had black dolls, because as a kid, maybe my mom didn't think about it and it didn't affect me negatively, but I wanted to reinforce that with them. So I think that's even taking it a step further, because you have children that now the blind piece, I don't know. And I don't want to be insensitive because like the kids don't know.
See it, right? And they don't know that it's a blind Barbie.
Yeah.
And I had a question. I'm not no shots at you, but you said like when do you remember when you was a kid, were you skinny?
No.
Okay, so were you upset that they never got on board with the plus size Barbie?
Well, they do now. They do. Yeah, I mean,
I never seen plus size
is subjective. Barbie. Like, if you want to look at like Barbie, right? She probably wears like a size 4, right?
Right.
The plus size Barbie probably wear like a size 10. So they don't have like no
you
size.
You can actually see it?
Yeah, like she's thicker.
The thick Barbie.
We can go to Target. I'll show you one.
You can Google it?
Probably so.
I never saw them. That's why I was sitting here thinking like they did all the.
They thicker. They not fat.
Representation. They did all the inclusiveness, but I've never seen a plus size Barbie.
Yeah, they thicker. They not fat, but you don't see no size 8, no size 20 Barbies. But they, you got like the regular Barbie, and then it's like the thick one is like a 10. She thick. You can tell the difference.
Don't Lizzo have a doll?
I don't know. I'm not
Wouldn't
sure.
it be like a
but it don't like have rolls and stuff like her.
But wouldn't it be like a representation of her?
I don't know if she has one. We would have to look it up. But I never felt any type of way that they didn't have like a plus size dot. Like that didn't even. I mean, yes, representation matters.
Did you notice that when you was young? Representation.
Sometimes I think in some areas people take representation too far, and I think as adults we project our feelings onto children because that's something children may not even be thinking about.
Right.
Like again, a blind Barbie. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but is a blind little girl really thinking, is Barbie blind like me? Because how does she know? Right. Now, an amputee Barbie, I can see where, maybe, but then again, some little girls might feel like, I don't want they may have some negative feelings towards their medical condition, and they may not want it. They might be like, no, I don't want a Barbie, I want a whole Barbie.
I remember when they had amputee Barbie and wheelchair Barbie. Yeah. And those, I remember when they brought those out, and it was like, okay.
But again, like I said, I think sometimes as adults, we project onto children, and we may take it a little too far because, again, I didn't care about the fact that Barbie was skinny. I could, her clothes was her clothes. Now, this is what I will say. There were some situations where, you would get a doll, and it would be like, it'll be an outfit for the kid that matched the doll's clothes. Mm-hmm. And sometimes those would be, small. But you didn't blame that on the doll. It was like, all right, why didn't they make the matching outfit for a bigger kid? Yeah, so that, but I think, that's good that they are continuing to expand Barbie even after all of these years. I think it's a good. I still didn't see the Barbie movie.
I never saw a plus size Barbie. I would like to see the plus size Barbie, and I was thinking about something else. What about Barbie?
They have the alopecia Barbies that are have no hair.
Oh, how far does it go? If you got alopecia Barbies with no hair, can you have a goth Barbie?
Well, they
do have a goth Barbie.
They have all that kind of stuff, different hair, and they have the punk rocker Barbie. They have that's just styling. So I mean
the makeup and all
I mean, you got to think Barbie face is only but so big, but I
know,
mean,
but can they put black triangles under her eyes? Can they put a nose ring in her fucking nose?
We'll look it up and see.
A goth Barbie.
Yeah,
that's hard to say.
Yeah.
Second gram. The global tech outage conspiracy. Do you think so? Do you think it was a trial error to see something big is coming and we don't know, and just they said a software update. So if a software update can ground airplanes globally for 2 days. What the fuck?
I didn't think
What
of
the
it
fuck?
being any kind of conspiracy.
Is that like a virus where it's like, oh, yeah, this works. Now we know what we can shut them down.
I didn't think of it like that, and I don't think so. But I do think that it is a wake up call that we become so dependent on.
Like, do we need to like take our money out the bank, like, so in case some shit happen, we can get to our money?
I don't think
not everything's in the bank, and
I don't think it will necessarily get to your money, like take it, but it could stop you from being able to use it because cards wouldn't work. So I mean, depending on how long it lasts. Yeah, I mean, there were some provisions being made during that time, like Amtrak and New Jersey Transit just let everybody on for free that day because nobody could buy tickets.
Right.
Or I think if you had tickets like in the app or something, like you couldn't show it. So, I mean, I think there is some give and take that we have to like start. And when I say we, not just everyday people, but companies too have to think about how dependent we are on technology. With this whole conversation they've been having about doing away with cash money and everything being like card and phone and all that kind of stuff. Well, if there's no cash, eventually look what's going to happen if it's a glitch in the system. Systems glitch. Yeah. It's just that's a huge system that
but it's
glitch.
Like the old software
systems
update.
Glitch.
You think about the software update you get on your phone, like for the iPhone, and you just think, it gets out the bugs and stuff like that.
My sister, Toya, her job had a system update they had to do, and I'm not gonna say for months, maybe it was for weeks. It absolutely did not work, and they were getting I'm not gonna like say where she works or anything like that or what field, but they were getting so much negative feedback. They ended up having to revert back to the old system, and the industry that she works in, this had a huge impact on people in a very major way.
Globally too, I would think.
Yes. So, I mean, again, systems glitch. And we just have to look at how dependent we are on systems. And like airplanes can't fly.
Right.
Like that's a big deal.
They got no radar.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Shit.
Yeah. And we got to think beyond the people that's traveling, right? What about the person that was waiting for like a heart to be transplanted to be transported from one place to another because they were due for a transplant or something, and they couldn't. Now I know that's not an airplane. Usually that's done in a helicopter, but it could have been in an airplane, like like if it had to come from a far away place or something, like beyond just the inconvenience of somebody traveling. Think about the person who may have been traveling, home to their parents' funeral or something. Like there's bigger implications than somebody just missing out on vacation. Like it's pretty scary, and I think we as a society do have to think about how we maneuver. Maybe Grandmama and Papa wasn't so wrong about having that money in a mattress.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because it got to a point where it's like I used to keep money in the house, and that just kind of it fades out because you get so used to using cards and stuff. But some shit like that happened. I automatically thought like, okay, what if that was the banking system and you couldn't, like, we was buying groceries or some shit and it's like no cards.
No, some people did happen to some people.
Like that's crazy.
Like that.
And
I don't know if the card didn't work at the store,
working,
but they couldn't go to the ATM.
Okay, that's fine. But I remember that morning because I'm up early, so it's 4:00 in the morning, and I'm looking at the TD app, and it was like it's in maintenance, and it was like, oh, okay, and it was like that till about 10. Yeah. And it was like, I didn't know that until I got home from work. It was like, oh shit, it was a big outage and it affected all this shit.
But again, thinking about the further implications, the person that may have needed to go to the ATM to drive through the toll booth to pay toll, but they didn't have no cash, they couldn't get the cash. Like it's
or
a bigger issue.
Pay a bill that somebody was about to shut off, and it's like, just in an emergency, you was about to do something and you had a real emergency, whether you was on a flight or at an ATM and you couldn't do it. Yeah. That shit is scary. Like pay for food. Like I can't do it right now. Like gonna let you walk out with all these groceries. Like
right.
The fuck.
Right.
Are you gonna let everybody just take their food? Like where's the line gonna be? Or is it gonna be fucking mayhem? Because you're gonna tell 200 people, put your food back, you can't pay for shit, and they gonna say, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we going out the store with this food. Yeah. Stop us.
Yeah.
Last gram.
What you got?
What you got?
I can't see.
You can't see. What is a puberty blocker?
I mean, I have never heard of it.
Elon Musk said his 20-year-old son is now a female, and he was tricked into signing papers for him to take puberty blockers. And I looked it up, and they are suppressing hormone medication.
Okay.
So kind of like castrating.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But by medication.
That makes sense. I heard that Wayne Newton, when he was younger, that terminology wasn't used, but it did that same thing. It suppressed his hormones so that he could maintain his voice. Because when boys go through puberty, their voice get a little bit deeper. They didn't want him to get a deep voice because it would change the sound of his music. So they, medicinally pharmaceutically castrated him with whatever medication so that could happen. So I guess that's the same thing.
Jesus Christ.
So he's saying that it was done by that wasn't their intent.
No, he said that the doctors and his mom told him that his son would commit suicide if he didn't go through with it.
Oh, so his son wanted to transition. He didn't want his son to. Oh, okay.
And he said his son is dead now. Well, because he's a woman, so he just said, I don't like talking about this because my son's dead. Like, my son isn't my son. It's...
Oh, he's saying his son is dead because he has a daughter. Wow, yeah. That's deep.
Just like that.
That's deep.
That's deep.
But
learned something new today. I never knew what a puberty blocker was. She never even seen the word puberty blocker. Yeah. I didn't know what. I had to look it up to see what a puberty blocker was. That's a wrap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 185, coming to a close. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, Player FM, all the platforms you can see us on. Type us in. We pop up. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We like the engagement. Talk shit. Flirt with us a little bit, but don't get hurt.
Flirt, but don't get hurt.
It's your boy International Walt.
It's your girl Tasha, co-host with the most.
You got something for him this week?
Yes. One of the 4 agreements of life says to do not take anything personal. Remember that. Protect yourself. Don't project yourself.
It's the 4 agreements from human to human. Just want you to be accurate.
Protect yourself. Don't project yourself. Don't take anything personal.
Wrap that up.
If you F with us.
If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace. I thought you had more to say.